The woman suddenly realized that the mushrooms she had picked were poisonous, but instead of discarding them, she ground them into powder and secretly slipped it into her lover's tea. Soon after, he fell ill and was forced to stay in bed. In his weakened state, he began to depend on Amy, and their relationship grew closer. Not long after, Amy used this opportunity to step into high society and transform herself into a respectable lady. Her name was Amy. She had once been nothing more than a waitress in a small country diner. One day, she encountered Jack, London's most celebrated genius designer. Handsome and enigmatic, Jack instantly drew the attention of everyone in the restaurant. While ordering, his eyes locked onto Amy, and that fleeting glance changed both of their destinies. Soon afterward, Jack invited her to dinner. At the table, he was gentle and attentive, even sharing some of his most private memories about his mother. His vulnerability deeply moved Amy, and she quickly fell for him. Yet when she truly entered Jack's world for the first time, she discovered he was far from the perfect man she had imagined. Jack approached his work with cold detachment, treating her as nothing more than a lifeless mannequin. He even took her measurements in front of his sister, completely disregarding her embarrassment. In that moment, Amy realized that, in his eyes, she was merely a vessel for creative inspiration, but paradoxically, that only deepened her longing to become his sole source of comfort. Amy moved into Jack's grand home and stayed by his side throughout his demanding creative routine. Yet reality proved far less romantic than she had hoped. Jack was obsessive about rules, he demanded absolute silence during breakfast, and the slightest noise from Amy would draw his reproach. She tried her best to please him, yet her devotion never seemed to earn more love. Until one day, Jack collapsed from exhaustion. For the first time, the aloof designer let down his guard and placed his complete trust in Amy. In that moment, she felt a sweetness and sense of purpose she had never known. She cared for him with the tenderness of a mother, and at last, she seemed to have found her place in their relationship. But the happiness did not last. Once Jack recovered, he quickly reverted to the cold, work-obsessed man he had always been. Amy's gentleness and submission were once again overlooked, and jealousy began to fester in her heart. Her breaking point came when a Belgian princess visited the studio, commissioning Jack to design a magnificent wedding gown. Amy could no longer bear being sidelined, nor the thought of losing him. Driven by desperation, she made a reckless choice. She crushed poisonous mushrooms into powder and slipped it into Jack's tea. Not long after, while examining the princess's gown, Jack suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed onto the fabric. As Amy watched his weakened body, a strange satisfaction welled up inside her. Because it was only in moments like these that Jack truly relied on her, only then did he completely belong to her. This time, Amy succeeded. Jack, sick and vulnerable, was no longer cold, he grew soft, dependent, and wholly devoted to her. For the first time, Amy had become the most important person in his life, but the triumph was short-lived. Jack's sister soon called for a doctor.